section off, you know. So he's got a little welded on. I want this one to be about that big right there. So a little trick to set your next section up on your tube pane that's a little easier so you don't have to pop it open consistently. Seat it up like that. Roll it on your marber one ring around. And then blow on it. And it'll snap right off.
Nice.
First things first, just gonna put a plenty on here. Then this end is a lot fatter than the rest of it, you can see that. So I don't, if you're doing a wigwag and you have tubing that's bigger and smaller, you're going to get bigger and smaller looking wigwags.
It's gotta be as even as possible.
Huh?
It's gotta be as even as possible.
Yeah, if you want a super even looking wigwag, you want a super even piece of tubing that's like all the same length, or same diameter all the way across. And it's usually pretty easy to get it close enough by just like heating the spot that's thicker.
Yeah.
Don't gotta be perfect, but it should be, you know, as close as you can get without driving yourself nuts. So it's definitely a lot closer now, and you can see how much more tube cane I got out of that little tiny thick section, you know. Okay, so now this is where a Smith hand torch would come in really handy for you, because you said you don't have a little flame. You gotta get down to pretty small flames if you want to make tight wigwags. So all I'm gonna do for my first thing here is I always used to over spiral my ends. I would spin them like 3 or 4 rotations, and then they wouldn't look nearly as clean as if I just do this literally like a half of a rotation or a whole rotation right here on the end. Just like you can see, if I'm looking at that line right there, it spirals all the way around almost one full rotation. Not quite by the time I peel it off. So it's like you don't need a whole lot for it to actually look like a spiral. So now I'm going to go right here beside the spiral, right at where that line ends, or the spiral part ends. I'm gonna heat it up with super light hands. I'm using like, you know, little to no force. And I wait until it wants to start moving. Then I'm only gonna turn this up. The smaller you turn it up, the tighter your wigwag's gonna be in the long run. So you don't wanna go far. You only wanna go like a little tiny turn.
Yeah.
If you try to turn this up like too far, your wigwags are gonna start like being fiery, wavy looking at the end of them, and it's like, it's cool, but it's not what you want. It's actually really sick. So now I skip one fire width length on here. And this takes some practice to like learn, especially when I'm wearing dark glasses. It's a dark room and a dark color scheme. So I'm skipping one spot, getting it really hot in just one line. And then turning it up and trying to keep about the same distance as I had on the one before. Not going very far, you're just trying to keep the same distance on every one. And then just keep doing this all the way down your piece. That one I kind of turned it up a little bit too much, so I'm going to just pull back down while it's still hot and get it to look the same as the rest of them.
Yeah.
So when I do wigwags, I sit in my fucking chair in my shop with my Smith torch sitting between my legs, and I just sit there and fucking like lean back and recline and just sit here and do these.
Get real comfy while you do them.
Yeah, because it takes fucking forever, and I just will set. I'll have like a blunt fucking going and just like pick it up and smoke it, and then fucking set it back down, and then when I get it all twisted up and everything, I don't even try to melt it in. I just set it down and pick up another one and fucking just do it. And then when I get all done with that, I go back to my torch and melt them all in and fucking make them into balls.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's still just like, you're paying $3,000, you know, if you were to clip that, you know, if it could be a 99-cent telephone, I think you can pull it off.
So the reason I got taught this way was Jason Lee taught me to do them all up and then all back down, because you see how much heat is like left in this wig after I turn it. There's still a lot of heat left in that. So if I were to try to heat right next to it and turn down, then it's going to pull that back and not make it as tight, you know? So by learning this skip a fucking spot tech, when you go back to turn those all down, everything's cool, and they just turn into super tight little peaks. Alright, so you can see they're all relatively the same going through. A couple of them are a little bigger, and you're going to notice that when I go back and turn these all down. So now I just go back and go in between the two ups and start heating and go all the way and go down with all of them. So I normally have like just didymiums on when I'm doing wigwags too, because it's fucking hard to concentrate and focus on what the fuck is happening with super dark shades.
Yeah. I know, I gotta get some lighter ones too. All I have is super dark ones.
I had lighter ones until TSA decided I didn't need them. I fucking shattered them on my way here.
Nice.
So now what I'm trying to do is turn down and match peak to peak. I want that peak to line up with this peak.
Okay, nice, nice.
Is that how you do it, all your wigs and all your wax?
It is, yeah.
I like to do that so they get nice and tight. What, better backs for the wig?
Yeah, I mean, I guess people have figured out how to do them a lot cleaner than I thought they could ever be.
Yeah, and you do the wig and wag in one move.
Yeah.
My kid was doing a bender back on one side, then the other side of the tube, and one side, then the other. Magically, they lined up.
So just matching peaks. Maybe I'll have to make kid give me a bender back lesson today then. Be like, alright, you're doing them so clean, how the fuck you do it?
Right.
some of these lines were a little too close to each other. I don't have enough of a plateau in between them to really get what I should be. Like this one was a little tight, and you can see it like
almost going to the next one.
Yeah, it almost like I still got it to work, but it definitely is like starting to make a problem for me. That's where I can turn down to like a little more of a pinpoint flame, but like the heat soak of the piece lets it go. This is where lighter shade didymiums would have came in handy, as I would have been able to see on the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see anything in this thing until it starts glowing red with these shades on. Still coming out pretty good though. It's still, the peaks are all lining up.
Nice.
And then just the spiral at the end right here. That's what it looks like. Now I gotta melt it all in and blow it up. So melting a wigwag in is best to try to do it in bigger swabs, you know, like heat up more at once, but what you're really trying to avoid is folding. So these are all, you know, spun one way, spun back the other way. They definitely have like a feel of a fold in between each one of these. So you don't want to twist it, you don't want to push it together too quickly. So what you gotta do is you gotta like kind of hold it steady without it spinning too much. Get a decent sized section warm to where you see the like where it doesn't want to fold anymore type deal, and then give it a little puff. So
almost
this one, that yellow's gonna want to blow out way faster than the rest. So I gotta be careful. I'm just trying to keep my wall thickness right now, or my design right now. I'm not trying to get a ball yet. I'm trying to get it so that design doesn't want to be folded anymore. So I can push together a little bit after I can like see it go out of it. We got that end so it doesn't want to fold in on itself anymore. Now we're going to move down here and try to get this hole in. So now I can take this side that's melted, that wants to blow in and I already blow up and it's already got some heat in it. Bring that heat back down here. Get it so those two don't want to fold, those two halves don't want to fold in on each other. Still like holding them their same distance apart. And then give them a little puff.
This one says code 33, so it may be that one. Yeah, it's the code 33.
Now I can get this end to squish in a little bit more by heating it up and holding it up in the air like this when I blow it a little bit. That made that top of the bubble. And then I can just peel this off, get my end down here to blow up a little thinner to get my termination.
You can already see them tightening up, like as it's gathering up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
They're way tight.
Out, I can peel that tip off now. So, see how it wasn't like that thin when I did it? Another trick is if you peel it off, and then before it has a chance to do much, blow it up. And then shrink it in like an implosion a little bit on itself. It'll also tighten your spiral up for you. So it doesn't always have to be super thin when you first do it. It has to be thinned out and then the middle like imploded on itself to give it that super sharp termination. Okay, so you see how my spiral is turned? Like it turns up right there?
Yeah.
I can fix that right now. Because all of this pattern to it is now just a straight line. It doesn't know that it goes like this. So if I just heat that up right where it starts turning, tag here slightly, I can heat up just where that part turned up, and it's not gonna unturn my wigwag at this point, or like one or the other, one wig or wag, you know. I can actually make that part alone turn back to start lining up. It's a little funky because of how thick this black is.
Yeah.
Of a color comparatively. There we go. So when I blow it all back up this time, it should line up a little better of a window. window isn't curving one way, you know.
Nice.
So this one I can blow out on the yellow, and getting your thing halfway in the middle of your ball is actually a little trickier than it seems. A lot of times, if you did a good job, you can just like go to the middle of your points, be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, do the in between 4 and 5. But sometimes, because you still got to melt that in, so it's hard to like judge where it is sometimes.
Yeah.
My general rule is blow it a little more on, like, because that's going to shrink in. You need to go a tiny bit more on that side than on this side of it, but not by much, of like the halfway point on the hemisphere. So I'm going to go right there, and then
How do I turn this on just for the beginning?
just hit go one time.
It says heat up.
It just says you just gotta hit go one time.
HDF.
Yep. So because I didn't peel that off super thin, I gotta blow it up thin, then get it to melt back in on itself. And then heat on the tip to shrink it back in. That is what will tighten it up. So you can either blow it out thin and peel it out thin, or you can peel it and then blow it out thin. And as long as you're doing that imploding tack, you're pretty good. What's up, buddy? So, you can see after all blown up, let me melt this in so it's about the same thickness again. Like, I'm a little off on the hole, but it's like pretty goddamn close to being halfway. So, because I'm trying to make like a nicer piece with this, I'm actually going to punny up or blow tube up to this and blow this up to make it super clean. Even though I'm going to be welding this to another section and doing a bunch of other shit, I got to make this a very nice round ball to be able to go into the next one and not create an oblong looking pattern.
Yeah.
So I heat all this up nice and hot.
Okay, I got the annealing cycle there. I've never used this one. I had the I had to shut it off and program it. So I didn't do you set this to anneal?
It should be on it if you fucking.
I wrote the program, but how do I turn off the default?
I actually don't own Scott, so
Okay, I have the manual right
yeah,
here.
so I don't actually know, to tell you the truth.
How long of a time?
Yeah.
How long of a time did you set it to hold at 10:50? 15 minutes, because it's been holding forever. Then just let it hold that 15 minutes, and it'll be fine. Yeah, I just need to initiate the program now. It's just at 10:50 hold right now. I just need to tell it to anneal.
It's still just saying like 999 or something like that for hold time.
Yeah, started. I entered the annealing, running annealing program. We're good to go. Press go. And that will show you SDR and stuff. This is where you choose the striking program. Press go again. What's the customer?
See this?
Nice.
Ready and customer annealing.
Yeah, clear over. It definitely gives it a good shine.
Right?
Yeah, it's super fucking clear.
Alright, now.